What's going on, Schmidt heads? Welcome to the first video of Undercover Picks. I do picks against the spread. I'm starting a little late, and I'm starting a little new. I just gathered stuff that I have, and here I am. So I'll get a better camera and all that, graphics, and talk more analysis eventually. But now I'm just dipping my toes in the water of this whole YouTube thing. So let's see how we do. My first video up. Let's just get started. Thursday night for week 11, we got the 7-3 Washington Commanders against the 7-2 Philadelphia Eagles. This is a lock for me. I got the Eagles. I think it's easy. It looks like a tough pick, but I think as the game plays out, we'll see that it was an easy pick. I'm going with the Eagles. It's the second half of the season, so this is when teams really start to, show who they really are. I think we'll see the Eagles win this easy. It's a division matchup. We need, Eagles need to, get that first place seed. This is for first place. I don't see a rookie Jaden Daniels getting that first place. He's been playing amazing this year. Commanders have played amazing altogether, but I just don't see it happening. I see the Eagles getting that first place, and Daniels only has 9 TDs on the whole year, so if he has to start slinging it and throwing touchdowns, I don't think this is the game it happens. I think experience is going to show here, and the Philadelphia Eagles with 5 in a row, they're looking confident. I think they got this. Let's go to the Sunday games. 1 o'clock, we got Green Bay at Chicago. I got them at plus 6.5. I don't think I mentioned the spread on the last game. Philadelphia is minus 3.5. I'm locking with Philadelphia to win and to cover. All right, 1 o'clock game. Green Bay at Chicago. Chicago is plus 6.5. Green Bay 6-3. Chicago's 4-5. It's another division matchup. I think Green Bay's got this. I'm leaning Green Bay. It's not a lock necessarily. It should be an easy lock, but you never know if this is the game the Bears want to show up and play. Their defense has been looking pretty good all year, but I don't know. Ever since that Hail Mary in the Commanders game, I really just think this is that was like a kind of nail in the coffin of the season. Early, they could still, it's still early. We're only midway through, but out of all the rookie quarterbacks, I feel like one of them's got they're not all going to make the playoffs. Drake May definitely isn't going to make the playoffs, but I'll get to that one later. I'm going with the Packers right now. I'm leaning. The Bears just look out of sync. Their offense they don't look in it. That's just an outside perspective, but that's what it looks like. That's the vibe I'm getting. And I just think, like I said, midway through the season, the real teams start coming out. I think Green Bay is going to be one of those teams. They're going to start looking like a playoff team. They haven't really looked dominant. They got a pretty decent record, but I don't recall any dominant wins against a good team. Chicago's not a good team or even a bad team, but yeah, so we'll see what happens. Next game, we got the 2-8 Jacksonville Jaguars at the 9-1. Sorry, Detroit Lions. Lions are minus 12.5. Mac Jones is starting this game for the Jags, so it's easy for me. Fade Mac Jones always and forever. Like I said, I'm a Pats fan. Did I say that? I am a Pats fan. Not as diehard as I used to be ever since I started getting into the betting scene, but yeah, he doesn't cover. He doesn't cover. It doesn't matter how good the spread looks. Doesn't matter how good you think their players are. They're going to fight, whatever. He'll have a crucial turnover. Happens every game. And that's what I'm doing. That's probably biased, so you might not want to listen to me there, but I think this is a good... Detroit's killing it. I think they're going to the Super Bowl. It's going to be a Chiefs-Lions Super Bowl. Yeah, and I'll talk more about that as these picks go on, but I really think they're making it all the way to the Super Bowl. They look dominant. We're gonna see a dominant Lions against a dominant, or record wise, good record Lions against a good record Chiefs. But anyway, picking Detroit because of Mac Jones, easy. Next game we got the 2-7 Las Vegas Raiders against the 3-6 Miami Dolphins. Dolphins minus 7.5. That's really high. It's kind of trappy looking. Dolphins don't really deserve, I feel like, to be favored by that many points yet. I know they could do it, and that's why I'm going to pick them. It's really high. Raiders, they don't win, but they like to cover. But yeah, I'm riding with Miami. I'm waiting for them to have that dominant-looking game this season. I know their record's bad, and they might be out of it, but the whole AFC is... They all got low records. I could see someone in the AFC with a 9-8 record, an 8-9 record at the end of the year, being in the playoffs, making the wild card. So that's I ain't gonna count teams like the Dolphins out yet that are 3-7. That they could still hit a little bit of a win streak. A 5-game, 4-game win streak is possible for teams like this, I feel like. But anyway, I'm hitting with Miami. I'm banking on them to finally have one of those dominant games. And their defense has been looking pretty good. I'm going to ride with that. I'm going to, go with that trend continuing. And, just overall record midway through the season, I think Miami has more to fight for. So, and they need to start looking good. And I think they can. They got the offense. It hasn't shown once yet this year, really. They've just been getting by with the games they've won, and they haven't been winning a lot. So, 3-6. Next game, I'm going with Miami, minus 7.5 to win and to cover. So far, the only lock, though, is this Philadelphia game. As the week goes, more of these picks get locked, but I could switch. We're going with a lock on Detroit, and also I think I'm locking Miami as well. That one could switch, but it's a heavy lean. Next game, we got the Los Angeles Rams at my New England Patriots. I believe my Patriots covered the last 3 games, and it's time to fade them, I think. Especially against the Rams, who are still fighting for a playoff spot. It's possible for them to make first place in their divisions. Cardinals hold it right now, and it's their first year really in first place, looking good in their division. So we'll see if that lasts. And right now, I'm going to go for them to maybe fall off just a little bit. I don't see them ending in first place at the end of the year, but, you never know what's going to happen. I'm going to pick the Rams to cover. They're minus 4.5. I just think New England this year is going to continue just focus on Drake May. Not New England, but the media and everything else. Like, New England loses, but boy, did you see Drake May. Their future is looking pretty good, yada, 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 yada. Which I'm for. I'm a New England fan. I'm for the future, I guess. And technically they shouldn't be 5-5, but they could be 5-5. They lost 2 overtime matches, so I think that could be another thing that's talked about at the end of the year. Like, oh, they could have, they had a pretty good team if you think about what their record could have been if they didn't lose an overtime match. And I think this bold prediction, this one could go in overtime where Saints just end it with a touchdown. Or not Saints, I'm sorry, the Rams end it with a touchdown. Yeah, that's just I just think it's time to fade New England. The Rams got more to play for. New England ain't making the playoffs. But they'll show a lot of hope for next year. We'll pick them to cover down the road, but right now this isn't a spot I want to pick New England. Rams are looking pretty good and they want to stick in it. Next game, we got the 2-7 Cleveland Browns at the 3-7 New Orleans Saints. Yeah, I'm fading the Browns on this one. I'm going with the Saints minus 1.5 to cover. I think it's easy. They just got more to fight for. The Browns in their division, it's going to be way too hard. That's got to be in their heads, I'm thinking, mentality-wise. Winston's all fun in games, but, he's a turnover machine. So there'll be games where he look great and we love him, and there'll be games where he turns the ball over and you're like, oh, that's why he's been in the league so long and he's not starting officially for a team. He's just a backup guy that, a good solid backup quarterback, but I'm riding with that. They just got more to play for. This could be a Winston revenge game. I don't know if that's a backup quarterback. We saw that earlier with Willis this year, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think there's any revenge factor here. I'm going with the Saints to win and to cover at home. They need this game, and it's still possible. I know it's the NFC, but with that division, who is it? Saints. Yeah, they could definitely. They still have a shot, even though I think the Falcons run away with it. But they'll hang in there, long enough to be talked about. Next game. Oh yeah, the Rams, by the way, is a lock for me. I'm locking in the Rams. I ain't switching that at all. Next game, the Ravens at Steelers. Steelers are plus 3.5. I'm locking in the Ravens. This game, I'm locking them in. I think they gain first place in their division. Steelers been looking really good this year. Their defense is looking really good. They're supposed to stop this dominant Ravens offense, and I'm getting kind of 2007 vibes when their dominant defense was supposed to stop the dominant Pats offense. Yeah, I'm freaking over 15 years ago, but I can see it being one of those games where their defense just looks like a normal defense, and the Ravens just keep doing what the Ravens do, So I'm going to have to lock in the Ravens. I feel like it's an easy lock, and the Steelers getting plus 3.5 also. For a division game, they both have the same record, basically, pretty much, same amount of wins. I feel like whoever's favored should, or, whoever's an underdog shouldn't be getting more than like 2.5 points. I ain't no, I don't do that kind of stuff. I don't cap games, but that just feels like too much for me. 3.5. So I'm going to fade that and go with the Ravens. I think they're going to win regardless, and they're going to look good while they do it. It's time for them to look like one of the top teams. They already do, but like really beat a top team. You know what I mean? Beat a top team and beat them good and look like one of the top teams. That's what I'm going with. Ravens to win and to cover minus 3.5. All right, next game. This is a game I might swap. I really don't know what to do here. It seems like an easy pick, which is I might be psyching myself out because it seems too easy. But any game does against the Tennessee Titans. We got the 7-2 Minnesota Vikings at the 2-7 Tennessee Titans. That seem like they're never going to get their offense together this year. And if they do cover games, it's going to be based off of defensive turnovers and just the ball rolling in their direction. I don't know how else to put it. So for that case, like, they're due to cover too, I believe. Like, even the worst teams, they got to cover eventually. And against the Vikings team, you think they should be able to roll all over them, but with Sam Darnold throwing picks like Sam Darnold used to, I knew he would come back to form this year. I was waiting for it, so It looks like he is. Should I fade him or go with the Vikings? They're gonna look good all year. They had a couple fluky games. Uh, but yeah, I do think Sam Darnold isn't that good. He just has a really good team around him for once. This is a game I might switch because that could be the reason why the Titans cover is those haunted turnovers, man. They lose so many points last week because of that and in previous games. But as of now, it would feel dumb if I pick the Titans and they don't cover. Like, that would be one of those games where I'm just like, I knew it. I knew it. What the heck was that? I was trying to outsmart myself. So yeah, as of now, I'm leaning Minnesota Vikings to win and to cover the -7.5 at Tennessee, but that could be a game I swap throughout the week. There's still a few days to go till Sunday, so always see something. All I need is that one headline sometimes to completely change my mind. And yeah, next game. We have the 4-6 Indianapolis Colts at the 3-7 New York Jets. This is another game I'm going back and forth with. I want to pick the Jets because I feel like the -3.5. It's Jets -3.5. It's just why are they getting -3.5? It kind of seems like not trappy, but like the spread is already telling me something. Indianapolis would seem like the easy pick, even though Anthony Richardson is starting this week. I thought we would get to see an old school Joe Flacco, Aaron Rodgers. I guess it's old school. We get to see a matchup. It would feel like it's 2010 again or something like that. And they're both playing for different, like an alternate universe. I thought it would be some cool matchup like that. Maybe it will be because they swap these two quarterbacks like, they don't even know what to do. So who knows if he gets pulled and we end up seeing that. But right now I'm leaning Jets to cover the 3.5. This is when I could likely switch because the Jets, I feel like such an idiot whenever I pick them and they don't cover, just like last week. I felt dumb, and you're just waiting for Rodgers to look like old vintage Rodgers and just find the open receiver. Now that he has the guys, he has his Devontae Adams, he has his Lazard, and he had Mike Williams and let him off the hook. But, Breece Hall, you got guys around you think but it's the same old Jets, I guess. It doesn't matter who they have. The Jets are the Jets. Same with the Browns. But yeah, I'm leaning Jets. This is one of those games where I'm going to feel dumb if I get it wrong either way. So I'm definitely going to have to do more research on this game throughout the week. I wouldn't bet it at all. I have no good read on this game. I'm just waiting for the Jets. Maybe they stick around, to still be talked about. Anthony Richardson, he already looks bad for tapping out the one game. I don't think he'll recover this year from that. Maybe towards the end of the year when their season's already over, he'll start showing signs of, hope. And, I can't wait for next year if you're a Colts fan. But yeah, I'm back and forth. Right now I'm leaning Jets. That one could switch. Pretty much only leaning Jets, like I said, because it's like you're waiting for that vintage Rodgers game. And he's got the players around him. And also the spread looks like it's telling me something. But I could change my mind on that any second. Next game, we got the 6-4 Atlanta Falcons at Denver Broncos. Broncos are -2.5. Broncos are also 5-5. I'm gonna go with the Falcons here to win and to cover. It's a tough one. I feel like I should think about it more, but I'm locking it in. I'm locking Falcons. I feel like this is also one I don't want to think too much about and try to outsmart myself. Falcons got the better team. Broncos should have beat Kansas City last week, and yeah, so say they beat Kansas City last week, which they should have. They're still only losing 2.5 points at home. So in alternate reality, say they won that game, I still think the spread would probably be the same. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm right about that at all. But I'm just going with the Falcons. That has nothing to do with why I picked them. Not really sure how the game plays out, but I do know that they got a good offense that can score points. They haven't really scored too much recently from what I remember, like no crazy 30-point games. I think we should see one of that. I know it's Denver defense at home, but they got to be a little let down about last week. That's going to leave a bad taste in their mouth. So, they got Sean Payton. I don't think they'll let it affect them too much. He's an experienced coach, might be able to get their minds right, but I'm just going to go with the Falcons. Denver could lose and still have a great shot to make the playoffs with a 5-6 record. Falcons just in the NFC, they got more to fight for, and they want to keep that top spot that they're holding in their division. Next game, we got the Seattle Seahawks at the San Francisco 49ers. 49ers are -6.5. I'm going with the 49ers to win and to cover. -6.5. I'm waiting for them. It's like I said, second half of the year, so they're going to start looking like their playoff form, I believe. They're getting all their pieces back. Christian McCaffrey was just used lightly last week. He'll get heavy usage, and the rest of the players will get healthy because of that. They're all getting banged up every week, but that he's one of the main pieces. So we're going to see him have one of his games, I'm sure, at least once this year. I'm banking on it being this week. And the Seahawks, they had a good start to the year, but every year there's a team like that where they get a good start to the year, and then 3/4 of the way we stop talking about them because, we forgot about their good start. And Seahawks is going to be that team this year, I think. And just in history, Geno Smith does not play good against the San Francisco 49ers at all. He has bad games. Pretty sure he loses by double digits to them a lot, if not all the time. I don't know. You could check that yourself. But he loses to them a lot and big time. I just think the Niners are going to look like the playoff team they're supposed to look like, and we might see them going on a little bit of a win streak. I see them. I haven't looked at their schedule, but I think they could win the rest of their games. Maybe lose one or two, but their record at the end of the year is going to look like, they could go all the way type of record. 4 losses, 5 losses. I could be wrong. Who knows? But right now, that's the vibe I'm getting, man. Next game, we got the Kansas City Chiefs at the Buffalo Bills. Bills are -2.5. I'm picking the Bills to win in the cover. Just based off the spread, pretty much. Based off the spread, Chiefs got a lucky win last week. It shouldn't have happened. They pretty much should have lost, but, block field goals happen, yada, yada. So, it's a loss. There's no technical win. It's a win. There's no technical loss. Sorry. Just rooting for Buffalo, man. I think they got the team to take the Chiefs out. They win games, too. They win tough battles, just like the Chiefs do. But, if a team's going to go undefeated, you would think they would look dominant at some point in the season. And the Chiefs haven't really done that. Their whole story is they just find ways to win games. I don't think that's an undefeated record type of... Well, it is an undefeated record type of story, but I really do see the Bills winning this matchup, and it was set up for a really good playoff rematch. You know, like, oh, you got the team that ended their win streak. This is the chance for the Chiefs to get their revenge. I'm thinking way too far ahead. But that's the vibe I'm getting. When I look at this game, I just feel like Buffalo wins. It's 4 o'clock. It'll be something awesome to talk about and whatever before the 8 o'clock game. Wind down just in time. When you wind down, boom, the next game is Cincinnati, Los Angeles Chargers. But yeah, I'm just there's got to be going into the playoffs teams that are gonna start to look like threats for the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs go all the way to the Super Bowl. They're gonna play the Lions. I think the Chiefs are gonna win it too. I'm talking real far ahead. What matters now is this week. But I want to ride with that. I want to ride with that feeling is what I'm saying. But I also want to ride with that future matchup storyline. I love it. Bills to win in the cover. Yeah, I just feel it. If you pick the Chiefs, you can't be hated. They're undefeated. But the Bills are going to be for real, and they're not going to be, I don't know. Chiefs have been getting a lot of lucky wins, I feel like. I'm not being a hater. The next 2 games, I won't have a lot of analysis because Thursday night and Monday night, those games really go on the vibe I'm getting for the week. So I could always change it, but right now I got Cincinnati as a lock. It's a lock, so I doubt I change it. For Sunday night against the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers are -1.5. I just feel like this is that trap spread. You know what I mean? This is that spread you look at and you're like, how? The Chargers covered their last 2 -7.5 spreads the past 2 weeks. They've been doing good covering. So now how do you cover those 2 spreads 2 straight weeks, and then now you're dropping down to -1.5 at home against the Cincinnati Bengals team that just looks mid-average, They look like they're supposed to be really good, but somehow they're losing games. And maybe that's what they're going for, that somehow they'll lose this game. Maybe that's what the spread's telling us, folks. But I believe Cincinnati wins this game. They gotta stay in talks for at least a playoff race for a little bit. I think they might actually. I'm still looking at the AFC. Feel like they have a shot. They could go on a run. They have the team to do it. Chargers have been looking good recently, but they haven't played like, I don't know. From my memory, they haven't played a team that I was surprised they beat. So if they beat the Bengals, I would feel a little surprised, even though the Bengals have disappointed us a lot this year. Not me personally, I've been picking against them, but this is the week I feel like, and they did cover last week, and against the Ravens team, like, they kept up with that. I don't see Chargers keeping up with Ravens, and any given week anything happens, but I give Cincinnati this minus. They're getting +1.5 at Los Angeles Chargers. Sunday night, Monday night, I have no idea how this game is going to play out. We got Houston Texans at Dallas Cowboys. Easy picks. Dallas is, I don't have it here. I believe they're +7.5. Sorry guys, I'm gonna have to look that up real quick. It'll take me 2 seconds. This is all CBS spreads, by the way. They stay locked on Tuesday. They don't change at all throughout the week. So if you're betting FanDuel, Bet365, whatever it is, betting app out there, there's plenty. I'm not going off of those. I'm going off of CBS spreads. I will look at that, though. Look at line changes and stuff like that. That'll that could sway me one way or the other sometimes with my picks. So if there's line changes, I'll talk about it. You guys will know about it. And yeah. So back to it. Dallas, I was right. There you are, plus 7.5 at home. Right now I'm leaning Dallas. I could switch that at any given time, but it just feels like Dallas is definitely due to cover, man. Like I said, even the worst teams have to cover at some point, and you'd hate to not pick them that week they cover, and this is the week I feel like they got to cover. Everything's going to heck with them. I'll feel stupid if Texans cover this. So that's why I'm going to put a lot more thought into it until maybe I won't feel stupid. But right now I'm leaning Dallas. Houston should have won last week, but they blew it. I saw that coming, though. I really did. I knew they would cover. I picked them to cover. But, when they're winning by, with that spread, you're wondering how are the Lions going to at least make it close. And they ended up winning. They didn't cover, though. Texans covered. But I think, due to that, it looks like Dallas kind of look like they have a little bit of fight on defense. I don't know. I got to look more into it, maybe see what they're saying at interviews. I don't really look too much into that stuff, but sometimes I do. Just if I really don't know who I want to pick, I'll look into that stuff. Maybe I'll hear something or just see something that makes me go, yeah. Or, I kind of like that. I think they're going to play off that energy. Let me pick that team, whatever. But right now, I have no idea what's going to happen. I just know Dallas is due to cover. And Texans could be the team to give them that cover because they have not been looking all that great lately. They haven't dominated anybody, I don't think, all year from my recent memory. So, yeah, I'm going with Dallas. And there you have it, folks. That's it. I don't get too much into numbers, stats. Sometimes I'll look at it, but most of my picks, as you heard, are pretty much just off of a vibe or what I'm feeling, or maybe I'll see just a storyline in my head that I like, and I'm going to go with it because I feel like it's possible. Mainly this week it was just with that Chiefs and Bills game, and I'm thinking future storyline with that. But I really like that, and I'm going to ride with it. And a lot of the times, a lot of the picks, like I said, I got 80 correct picks this year. It just works out that way, A lot of picks I get right is because I had that gut feeling, and that's sometimes the best advice, I could give is go with your gut feeling. Especially don't listen to me. I'm just trying to help you. When I watch these videos online, I'm just trying to, maybe that person's going to help sway my opinion. They're going to say that one thing that, for the games I'm not sure. Oh, I'm going with this team now. I heard that one thing that I can't get off it, I'll put my money on that. Know what I'm saying? So, there it is. Week 11 against the spread picks and straight up. I gave you some straight ups, I believe. I gave you all. I'm going with a lot of favorites this week. So, if I pick the favorite, obviously, I'm picking them straight up to win. That's it. In the future, like I said, I'll have more with the graphics and all that. But for now, what matters is the picks, getting them right, and winning some money if you do bet. Happy Sunday, everybody. I'm posting this a little late, but hopefully I get a few views from this. And you guys, don't forget to click like and subscribe.